Blacklisted from the NBA, players carrying a bad reputation, whether it's attitude problems, being detrimental to the league, label many names non-basketball related with unacceptable behavior. A lot of times, it's not about how good or impactful one is, but for guys who aren't franchise stars, just role pieces, at a certain point, the NBA will give them no more chances to get another crack of the hardwood. It's 2024, and these players likely won't ever be seen in an NBA uniform again. Tariq Evans, last played in the league nearly 5 years ago, out the NBA for good before age 30 with no second chances. The once promising 6'6" unique ball handler put up rookie numbers matching the greats of Oscar Robertson, Michael Jordan, and LeBron James, won Rookie of the Year over Steph Curry. The type of player to excel with the ball in his hands, didn't have a great jumper, but the dysfunctional Kings decided to move him off ball. After drafting DeMarcus Cousins, built the team towards their franchise center, but after several foot injuries, not having the desire to improve his flaws, Tariq literally peaked his rookie year. Combined with a magnitude of coaching changes, never able to properly settle into one defined role, Isaiah Thomas started to control the ball more. Evans sent to New Orleans, but Drew Holiday and Eric Gordon the starters, leaving Evans limited. Frustrated with Monty Williams, traded back to Sacramento, the type of player who needs reps to get into any rhythm. His final productive season, the 22-win 2018 Grizzlies, empty stats of nearly 25-5, despite improving on his outside jumper. Those injuries already took a toll on his game. Last stint with the Pacers, off the bench, didn't play the point. NBA drifted heavily to a perimeter-based shooting league. Suspended for being late to a practice, swept round 1 after a decade in the league, banned right after for 2 years, using drugs, labeled as drugs of abuse, the final nail in the coffin. Tariq himself never made a public statement, a combination of a bad PR team, nobody backing him up, joining the G League after reinstated, barely anyone knew, waived by the Washington Herd. For a guy who's never played all 82 games in the season, his development stunted with the injuries, not being outspoken, super introverted, never had the personality to become a leader of any team, an absolute wasted talent, now playing overseas in Venezuela. OJ Mayo, one of the most hyped teenagers the country's ever seen, got abused by retired Michael Jordan in a pickup game after talking smack. The foolish teenager superstar status attracted celebrities his high school games, third pick of the 08 draft, considered a loaded class behind the likes of Derrick Rose and Michael Beasley, averaged a respectable 18.5 points, rookie runner-up, looked every bit as promising as advertised, but his brashy attitude combined with doing drugs. His career quickly went downhill after. Got in a fight with Tony Allen in a card game, unwilling to pay up, while on the plane, allegedly got beat up. The beginning of his downfall, while the harder working Allen flourished with Memphis. Then January 27, suspended for 10 games testing positive for steroids, said he didn't know it was banned, blamed it on an energy drink. Benched by his third and fourth season, didn't get along with head coach Lotto Hollins. Memphis didn't sign a qualifying offer, played decent for Dallas, but his numbers dwindled with superstar Dirk back healthy, got on Rick Carlisle's nerves, blaming OJ for simply not wanting it bad enough, becoming his own worst enemy with the decline, signed with the Bucks in a swap with Monte Ellis. The 15-win Bucks didn't give him much minutes, gained 20 pounds off unhealthy weight next offseason. From starter and main option to a 6-man role, a career-killing moment. Also broke his ankle walking down the stairs of his house. The 2015 Bucks, with young promising pieces Brendan Knight, 20-year-old Giannis, Chris Middleton, and Jabari Parker, the building blocks led the Bucks to 500. OJ Mayo pretty much non-existent with the team, just like Manti Te'o's online girlfriend. His final 2016 season, remember for getting into altercations on the floor, the league then suspended him for violating the anti-drug policy, out the NBA by 28, played like a shell of himself, but serving the longest ban in over a decade, said he was hurt and almost lost without basketball. In 2017, wanted another shot at the Bucks, no teammates wanted to comment or back him up, failed comebacks, ended up in China, became a world traveler, most recent playing in Egypt, one of the most known overhyped prospects, close to 2 years older than kids his grade year, acting like a know-it-all from day one, to getting abused by retired MJ, beat up by Tony Allen, and not getting along with any head coaches. having poor work ethic, getting out of shape, combined with the hardcore drugs, a magnitude of terrible decisions. Looking back, OJ Mayo can only blame himself for a short-lived NBA career. Dion Waiters, NBA says see you laters. Thought the league was haters, Mr. Gummy Bears invader, bad attitude, team traitor. The now 32-year-old played his final season at 28 with the bubble title Lakers. Once upon a time, the former 4th pick of the 2012 class, alongside backcourt teammate Kyrie versus John Wall and Bradley Beal, was a legit argument. Waiters more like a bootlegged version of Kyrie. The duo went 57 and 107 2 seasons spent. Traded to OKC, couldn't fit with LeBron, super reduced role on a better team. Sam Presti gave up on him after Durant left. Found consistency in Miami, having the best years of his career. On a team that believed in him, but his inconsistent play, super frustrating. A poor man's J.R. Smith without the athleticism, having ankle injuries ruined his abilities, combined with the unprofessionalism. Didn't show up to a game due to urgent matters, only to post on IG on a boat celebrating his birthday. An absolute travesty of a decision that still haunts him today. Became a huge negative to the locker room, had a panic attack on the plane, too high on edibles. Waiters would have ended up on the NBA Troubles Hall of Fame, but fooling around in an organization like Miami won't tolerate any of his hocus pocus nonsense. Needing a medical emergency landing, having a seizure, criticizing rookie teammate Kendrick Nunn and Tyler Hero playing above him instead of being supportive. Insulted Coach Spoelstra, the lack of self-awareness, being in the NBA for almost a decade, suspended 3 times, absolutely pathetic. Waiters never fully matured until it was too late. Waived by Memphis, could have been out the league after, but the Lakers snatched him up, rolled the bench, got a free ring. The type of student who did zero work to receive an A on the group project, talked his shit, acted like he did something, and questioned the ones who doubted him.
End of the year I had, suspension. They tried to bury me. They really tried to bury me, bro. I ain't even do nothing. But you can't keep it to the Orioles. They tried to bury me, man. Suspension. I'm like, dang, what I do?
When it was Dion Waiters himself who caused his own demise, never adjusting to the different environments. Kevin Porter Jr., formerly of the Houston Rockets, his temperament, known for lashing out, whether it's with the Cavs or Rockets, plus the assault case before one being dropped, already tarnished the 23-year-old's reputation big time. The 30th pick of the 2019 draft, a gamble due to having character issues in college, a tough background growing up, Porter Jr. might never get another chance to play in the NBA unless he truly changes. Gets too emotional even on little things when his locker moved, given to the auditorium prince. The immature 20-year-old drew a tantrum, even drew fruit across the locker room, arrested in a car crash, improper handling of a firearm. Despite the off-court distractions, Porter's poor attitude with the team when he didn't have the ball caused bad vibes, often failing to get back on D after missed shots. Accused of punching a woman back in November 2020, Cleveland had enough. After a year, traded him for 2 seconds. Despite the chaos, his basketball talent's undeniable until his troubles got way too out of hand. Accused of smashing a DJ's laptop at the club, violated COVID protocols 2021, had a mid-game beef with now fired head coach John Lucas, throwing an object at coach, drove home at halftime. Despite his troubles, Houston still offered him 4 years, $82.5 million with built-in protections, only a 1-year guaranteed, then only owed him 3 years beyond year 1, anticipating any troubles to be proven correct. Then the New York City Fashion Week hotel room incident happened. Guilty to misdemeanor assault and harassment violation with former girlfriend, traded to OKC, immediately waived. The kid seriously needs to mature up, otherwise no one will even be thinking about wanting him anywhere near their team. Given his youth, Porter Jr. can absolutely get another chance if the behavior changes, but until then, one more bad incident we hear about could be the biggest wasted basketball talent of this generation. Enes Kanter, now a regular on political news shows after getting his US citizenship, changed his name to Enes Freedom, being heavily outspoken about injustices around the world. The now 31-year-old had to pay the heavy consequences, costing the league money with his remarks. Many absolutely agree with his points on China, but nobody really brings it up. Whenever he goes after Turkey, the league okay with that, but when it comes to the anti-China remarks, The NBA begged him to be quiet. For a player who has his flaws on defense but terrific rebounder and low post scorer, a solid backup, being a 20-minute-ish guy, made a huge impact for the 2019 Blazers Conference Finals run, averaged 11 and 11 for 2021. Was he supposed to decline that rapidly? The minutes absolutely reduced heavily by the 22 Celtics, barely playing, traded to the Rockets February 2 years ago, waived quickly, hasn't played in the league since. Adam Silver says Kanter free to speak about any issues. But with China generating several billions for the NBA each year, Kanter has a strong argument about the league not wanting to lose his relationship with one of their biggest moneymakers. Being super outspoken like that, he knew his NBA career was dwindling down, being the only one to speak up about certain issues, but unfortunately his talents aren't good enough to still have a spot in the league to outweigh the headlines. China even stopped broadcasting Celtics games after his comments, continues to call out the league's hypocrisy. Likely the last guy any team wants to associate with, will be more known for politics in the foreseeable future. DeMarcus Cousins, the four-time All-Star, has officially moved on entirely from the association. Last played in 2022, backup for Jokic. His attitude has improved throughout the years, but all those wasted time with Sacramento, spent most of his career on losing teams, known for the bad temper, getting thrown out of games, followed by the devastating Achilles 2018, a shell of himself since, with no vets to keep him in check for most of his career, blamed for Sacramento firing coaches. Signed 1 year with 2019 Golden State, tore his quad, then tore his ACL after signing with the Lakers. A misdemeanor charge later dropped. Cousins then randomly played for the Rockets, Clippers, and Bucks, 4 different teams in 2 seasons. Dropped 19 points his final time on the NBA floor, Game 5 first round in Golden State. DeMarcus even asked Bob Myers why he isn't in the league. The former GM responded, "People are afraid of how he's gonna act." Unfortunately, his declining talents with those big injuries, given the uncertainty of his attitude, simply the main reason why many teams are afraid to sign him. Many now afraid of Dwight Howard, truly one of the biggest disappointments after his tenure with Orlando. On his way to becoming a top 20 player all time, the goofy attitude and unserious behavior rubbed many the wrong way. Former 8-time All-Star, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year winner, once labeled Superman. So hated, even snubbed out the top 75. Trying way too hard to get everybody to like him, his image never recovered after the Stan Van Gundy debacle. Only the ones who truly watched the NBA during the late 2000s and early 2010s remembers how great prime Dwight really was. Despite rejuvenating his image, being an impactful player on the 2020 Lakers, gossips and rumors about Dwight acting inappropriately raised too many red flags. Having a crazy mind, comments like these.
Our D was good tonight. It's very important, but it starts with the D. So we gotta make sure we keep playing defense.
There's a reason why after his tenure in Houston, Howard couldn't stay on the same team for more than 1 season. That glute injury on the Wizards, absolute sauce. People questioning his sexuality, having a secret boyfriend despite having 5 kids. After 2022, begged the league to sign him, but way too unrealistic with his demands given his declining talents and age, combined with more gossip, being ousted publicly, the damage to his reputation already done, having tons of fun, hitting up IG randoms, not very intellectual, blasted in public, nothing is consensual. Accused by a man named Harper, details gets darker, consequences not very proper. A private intercourse, lacking evidence without any remorse. Lawsuit filed, avoided trial. Lots of questions about that gullible smile. Some were true, not in 100% denial. Just read the files. Lots of text messages, tons of low-key fetishes. Took place in his Georgia residency. Lots of lies told, screenshots lacking evidency. Defendant acted up with great hesitancy. D12 could have drove a couple miles to Magic City. Room service provided by the committee. Nothing but unlimited biddies. Age appropriate, unlike Josh Giddey. Instead of Ballsack Sports coming from a real source, Dwight Howard introduced a man named Kitty. A few players who some believe are blacklisted, but in reality, their skill set don't suit what most teams looking for today. Combined with the heavy injury history, there will always be a bottom line. Jabari Parker, from being a high school prodigy, growing up in the south side of Chicago 10 years ago, many would think he'd be a top 10 player today, but out the league since 2022, 6 teams in 8 seasons, multiple knee surgeries, not necessarily blacklisted, but understanding the leagues of business, says great teams run by franchise stars, the other half playing crappy players, tanking for lottery picks, being either super good or bad, league watered down, Parker now balling out in Barcelona. His comments back in 2018 about the NBA not playing guys to play defense also likely cost him another opportunity. Jeremy Lin last played almost 5 years ago with the Raptors. From his dominating, shocking insanity days, always dealt with uphill battles, not looking like somebody in his career occupation, being misjudged his whole life. After that torn meniscus, New York didn't even offer him a contract, went to Houston only to be an afterthought when James Harden came to town. A good player when healthy, became a journeyman hampered by injuries, but after a bad 12-game stretch with Toronto, 9 years in the league, not given another chance, went to the CBA, dominated, stints with the G League Warriors, called unnecessary names such as coronavirus by another player, averaged 20 points over 6 rebounds in 31 minutes, even had an HBO documentary, still not getting a single call, not even on a bench role. After experiencing racism playing ball since his teenage years, his race playing a factor of him not getting scholarships, possibly leading him getting undrafted, Lin has every right to question many doubters, now hooping in Taiwan, but at the end of the day, his athletic skills of play declining combined with inefficient scoring, not known as a true floor general, his skill set simply not equipped for most teams searching for a backup point guard. Being in his mid-30s, many rather give more playing time to a younger guard with more upside. Taco Fall, many believe blacklisted, but just way too slow, lacks foot speed and agility, would likely be in the league especially in the 90s and 2000s, being a big body to draw at prime Shaq. Any video talking about him being banned, absolute clickbait. Kemba Walker and Isaiah Thomas, super small guards, relying on quickness, always poor on D. Neither one was gonna age well. Kemba's damaged knees when playing last couple seasons literally looks like a shell of himself some nights. There's a reason why Boston got rid of both so quickly. Sad endings for players who were once all NBA caliber at their apex. And LiAngelo Ball, all hype, not NBA talent, just that simple. Any chance one of these players on the list ever makes it back to the league? If I were to guess one, my pick goes to Kevin Porter Jr. Still tons of upside, absolutely needs to surround himself with the right people, continue working on his game and attitude. Everything will speak for itself. Until then, several other players we're already thinking about will end up on this list towards the end of the decade.